Okay, ang main issues po natin for today is number 1, whether or not pwede po ba mag-request ng mga ganitong allocables or allocations ang isang executive secretary kung saan ang layunin po ay papondohan ang mga projects under the Department of Public Works and Highways. Okay, and then number 2 po is whether or not kung ano po ang epekto, ang posibleng epekto po sa isang presidente sa mga ganitong klaseng alleged actions po ng isang executive secretary. Kung posible ba siyang madamay doon yung presidente or kung meron ba siyang possible liabilities din assuming magkaroon talaga ng cases later on. Okay, so good day po my fellow taong bayan. Yan po yung magiging main issues natin for today. And on top of that po, i-discuss ko na lang din at papadaanan ko rin yung sa side po ng Congress natin kung whether or not pwede ba talaga yung mga congressmen and or senators natin mag-request sa DPWH na pondohan ang certain projects during the preparation of the NEP, and then kung pwede ba talaga yung mga insertions or amendments during naman po sa deliberation sila sa Congress. Okay? So before we start po, just a quick reminder to all of you na pag nag-subscribe po kayo sa YouTube channel ko, 100% free. Wala po yung bayad. So kung nakita po nyo pag-click ko, walang any payment na lumabas. And hopefully din po, you can consider liking the video itself kasi pag di-like nyo po yung video, mas tataas po yung engagement. So because of that po, mas ipopromote yan ni YouTube to more individuals. Therefore, mas madami pong makakapanood itong mga explainers ko. So in other words, kung gusto nyo po itong ginagawa kong content and you believe na dapat marami pang makita nito, huwag nyo po sana kalimutan i-like yung video mismo, and of course, mag-subscribe po sa channel ko sa YouTube para notified po kayo kung may bago akong upload. Okay, ngayon tuloy po tayo sa discussion. Okay, so for the facts of our discussion po, this one all started from the quote-unquote Cabral files na nilabas po ni Congressman Leandro Legarda Leviste. So on December 29, 2025, 4:31 PM, naglabas po ng post si Cong Leviste kung saan sabi niya, Cabral files list 8 billion tagged under proponent OPES/SAP corroborated with others not allowed to give speech to call for inquiry. So actually dito po sa binanggit ni Cong Leviste, wala naman siyang sinabing pangalan kung sino tong OPES/SAP, pero nag-react po si ES Bersamin. Ang sabi po niya, I am aghast and outraged at the insinuation that the tag ES found in the so-called Cabral files pertained to me as the executive secretary to whom was allocated 8.3 billion worth of DPW8 projects under the GAA 2025. So in summary po, dininay ni ES Bersamin. Pati po si SAP Lagdameo, gumawa din po siya ng statement denying this. Pero from all the research that I did, si PBBM himself, wala po siyang actual denial of this. Ang meron lang po si ES Bersamin and then si SAP Lagdameo. And then si Yuse Claire Castro po, as far as I know, hindi naman directly dinenied din yung involvement ni PBBM. More on, nag-focus po sila na dapat daw magkaroon ng probe into how Leviste obtained documents. Okay, so yan po ang pinaka-facts ng case natin. And for our first legal discussion po, i-discuss ko yung pinaka-main issue talaga because of all these alleged insertions, allocables, so on and so forth. Kasi yung short answer po is hindi naman talaga to prohibited by the Constitution na mag-request po sila ES or yung OP or yung Malacanang na pondohan ganyan. Pero meron pa kasi tong bigger problem at yun po yung uunahin nating discuss. Okay, so unang-una po i-clarify ko lang din na hindi ko rin po sinasabi na talagang merong allocable insertion to sila ES Bersamin or the other political figures involved in this discussion or in the posts po dito nila Congressman Leviste. We are just using them as facts because ito po yung current event na is a matter of public interest naman na at present. So to make it easier for the taong bayan to understand the legal issues involved or applicable in cases like this, yung facts po ng current event ang papagbasihan natin sa discussion. Okay, so ngayon po, going back to the main issue natin, ang pinaka-problema po talaga sa mga ganito is not necessarily on the preparation, in the request phase, in the insertion, in the allocable allocation phase, kundi dun po sa implementation. Dun po talaga nangyayari yung mga magic na yan. Dun po nagkakaroon ng bid rigging, nagkakaroon ng kickbackan, nagkakaroon ng bigayan ng basura and or maleta. Dun po yan sa implementation. Okay, so the reason why I am explaining all of this po to you, my fellow taong bayan, Kasi kung ako po ang tatanungin, ang maganda po sana talagang gawin dito is tingnan kung ano tong mga 8 billion na to na sinabi ni Congressman Leviste and then i-check kung na-implement ba ng maayos yun, itong 8 billion na yan. Kasi kung tatandaan po natin, under pa to ng 2025 DPWH NEP. Therefore, nasa GAA na to, nasa 2025 GAA. So, this should have been implemented already last year pa kasi 2026 na po tayo ngayon, di ba? So, yun sana yung magandang tingnan talaga at i-investigate dito ni Congressman Leviste kung ano ang nangyari sa implementation stage nitong 8 billion na to. Was it implemented properly? Sino yung mga contractors involved? And then, saang distrikto bumagsak? Saang part ng bansa po natin? Kasi from there, doon natin makikita kung yung mga patterns or mga chain of events kung saan pwede magkaroon ng reasonable conclusion na posibleng parang may conspiracy to commit massive corruption. Doon yung issue talaga sa side na ng DPWH implementation. Okay, so yan po sana yung magandang tutukan ngayon ni Congressman Leviste kung ako lang po tatanungin. Focus on what actually happened after it was allocated, inserted, amended, so on and so forth. Whether or not yung mga contractors ba na nakatanggap nitong projects or humawak po ng projects na to, yun din ba yung mga allegedly involved sa mga ghost and or substandard flood control projects. Yun yung the best sana dito na gawin ni Congressman Leviste. Okay, so yan po ang main issue talaga dito. It is not on the insertion but on the implementation. So ngayon po i-explain ko naman sa inyo kung bakit po sa professional point of view ko hindi naman prohibited na mag-request ang isang executive secretary or the Malacanang ng mga certain projects sa DPWH. Okay, and then next po niyan, discuss naman natin kung posible bang may panagutan din ang isang presidente. At ang sagot po dyan, kaya sa tingin ko hindi prohibited yung isang executive secretary mag-request pondohan ang certain projects is because ang budget making process po kasi starts with the executive department. So when I say it starts with the executive department, sila po ang nagpe-prepare ng NEP. And that is under our constitution po. So ipakita ko sa inyo. This one po ang titingnan natin. Section 25, paragraph 1 of Article 6 of the 1987 Constitution. The Congress may not increase the appropriations recommended by the President for the operation of the government as specified in the budget. The form, content, and manner of preparation of the budget shall be prescribed by law. So ito pong prescribed by law na to, this is the Administrative Act po natin of 1987. Pero from here, may kita po natin na yung Presidente po ang nagre-recommend ng budget, ng initial stage ng budget po sa Congress. At yung tawag nga po dyan is the National Expenditure Program or the NEP. Okay, so ang point ko po dyan, why I am sharing that is because the executive secretary being part of the executive, an alter ego po ng presidente. Therefore, kung siya po nag-request na pondohan yung ganito, ang dating po niyan, parang yung presidente din mismo ang nagpapapondo nung project na yun. 'Di ba? And then, since yung executive naman po yung nagpe-prepare ng budget, therefore, nasa power po talaga yan or within their prerogative na piliin kung ano po yung mga projects na pondohan. 'Di ba? Nasa power po yan ng executive talaga. Okay, so ngayon, ang next question natin, paano naman sa Congress? I-discuss ko po muna yung sa Congress naman kung pwede rin ba mag-request yung Congress. So kung ako po ang tatanungin, ang sagot ko rin po dyan is pwede din po mag-request yung congressmen natin or senator sa executive kasi at the end of the day, those are simply requests. At yung actual decision kung whether or not isasama ba yung mga request na yun sa NEP is still vested with the executive. 'Di ba? So yung may final say pa rin po talaga kung isasama sa NEP ay yung presidente pa rin or yung mga alter egos niya. Yung ginagawa lang naman po ng congressman and or senators ay mag-request lang. And idagdag ko na lang din po, in a perfect world po kasi sa theoretical side of things, dapat po kasi yung congressman or senator yung may alam talaga kung ano yung mga problema po, di ba, na nasa province sila. Therefore, if you are a actual congressman or senator who addresses the needs or concerns of your constituents, edi talagang ire-request po niya kung ano yung mga priority programs niya na dapat talagang mapondohan. Okay, so yan po yung sa perfect world or in a theoretical side of things. Pero alam ko rin naman po na minsan nag-iiba sa reality. But anyway po, ang main point ko lang dito is it really involves a lot of balancing, diba? Kasi currently, there's a lot of issues going on kasi lumalabas na ang daming corruption nangyayari after all these insertions or allocables versus naman dun sa theoretical side of things na dapat pinapriority talaga ng congressman or senators yung mga immediate immediate concerns ng constituents niya. And it is via those requests po kaya na-address yung mga ibang immediate concerns na yon. So again, it involves balancing from the theoretical side of things and the reality kung saan may mga alleged kickbackan or maleta or basurang nangyayari din. Okay? And yung isa pa pong example na mabibigay ko dyan kung saan makita natin na allowed talaga mag-communicate yung legislative and executive regarding certain matters is because also of the LEDAC po natin. Diba? Yung Legislative Executive Advisory Council kung saan nagko-communicate po yung dalawang branches of government natin para malaman kung ano yung mga measures na dapat i-prioritize ng legislative para gawa ng batas at kung ano yung mga dapat i-implement ng maayos ng executive. Diba? So in a sense, parang ganyan din po yan kung nagre-request sa DPWH. That is just a communication, a request, and at the end of the day, yung discretion to include it or not is still with the DPWH. So kung yung DPWH pa rin ang nag-prepare nung draft na yon, dun po yan papasok naman within their constitutional power na executive ang magre-recommend ng budget. Okay, and then alam ko naman yung next question ninyo, baka sabihin ninyo, di ba meron na pong Supreme Court case, yung Belgica versus Ochoa, a 2013 case, kung saan dineclare po ng Supreme Court as unconstitutional yung pork barrel. So in that case po, ang classification na binigay ng Supreme Court when it comes to pork barrel is what we call post-enactment legislation. So when you say post-enactment legislation po, yun yung pag nakikialam pa yung mga congressmen and senators after ma-approve na yung budget, yung General Appropriations Act. So in this case po, sa dinidiscuss ko ngayon sa inyo, wala pa kasing actual budget, nasa preparation phase pa lang. So kung mag-identify, mag-request ka ng ganun, hindi po yun siya papasok under the definition of pork barrel dun po sa Belgica case. Okay, so yan po ang current legal situation or setup talaga when it comes to the so-called insertions, allocables, amendments, and so on and so forth. And then, i-emphasize ko na lang din po, ito pong lahat ng sinasabi ko, these are all jurisprudence. Hindi ko po to sariling point of view or opinion. These are decided cases by the Supreme Court. So, kung hindi pa yun baguhin ng Supreme Court yung definition kung what constitutes as a pork barrel, unfortunately, yung mga request, insertions, amendment, hindi po yun papasok under the definition of pork barrel because those are all events na prior to the enactment. Again, ang prohibited po sa Belgica case is only post-enactment legislation, yung pagpakikialam po ng congressman kung saan mapupunta yung project after na-approve na yung GAA. Okay, so hopefully klaro yan. Ngayon punta naman po tayo sa next question natin. Kung let's say magkaroon talaga ng mga cases later on, kung posible ba madamay ang isang presidente sa actions po ng executive secretary niya. At ang sagot po dyan is yes, posible pong madamay ang presidente because the executive secretary and cabinet secretaries po are considered as alter egos of the president under the doctrine of qualified political agency. So in effect po, ang nangyayari dyan, ang mga actions po ng isang executive secretary, ng isang cabinet secretary, it is presumed to be the action of the president himself unless po yung presidente sabihin niyang hindi niya yan inutos sa kanya. Unless and until there is a declaration na ganyan po ng president, then the presumption is presidente rin mismo yung gumalaw niyan or gumawa po niyan via his alter ego. Diba? Kaya nga po na-mention ko kanina na wala pang clear denial na sinabi directly si PBBM and even si Yusek Claire Castro, wala din pong clear denial kasi sinasabi lang nila imbestigahan kung paano kinuha. Hindi niya sinabing hindi si PBBM yung nagpa-insert. And then i-clarify ko lang din po, hindi po sa mere insertion posibleng madamay ang presidente kasi like what I explained earlier, that is within the powers naman nila kung paano nila i-prepare yung budget. Ang posible pong madamay dyan is kung makita later on na itong mga meron palang mga magic na nangyari yung in-explain ko po sa earlier portion of this video. So it is because of those possible corruption cases kung meron man sa implementation stage. Dun po siya talaga posibleng magka-liability, hindi dun sa insertion. So yan lang din ang gusto ko i-emphasize because the mere act of inserting is different po from the actual implementation of the project. So kung sa insertion wala pong liability, pero kung sa implementation makitang merong mga ghost projects, substandard projects, dun po pwede yan ma-argue na nangyari itong ghost projects na to because of this. Pero mahaba pa pong usapan yan, hindi yan ganun ka straightforward kasi malayo-layo po. Those are two different factual circumstances na at may different elements pa yan na kailangan din i-establish in court. Pero yun nga po, kung later on merong corruption mapakita dun sa implementation and then there is no clear disapproval, repudiation done by the president na hindi niya yun inutos, posible po yan ma-argue na involved yung president, being the action po ng alter ego niya yung hindi niya pinawalang bisa. Okay, so yan po ang mga posibleng mangyari sa ganitong bagay-bagay. Pero kung makita po nyo, hindi siya ganun ka straightforward kasi again, the mere fact of inserting budget is different pa kung whether or not meron bang corruption sa implementation. Okay, so hopefully klaro po yan. If you like more legal videos and current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!